Today, we're going to finish our trio of videos about sustainable clothing by talking about different ways that you can buy secondhand clothing. There's so many ways of getting hold of secondhand clothing, and so I wanted to talk you through them because I'm sure there's at least one here that you haven't heard of. The most obvious way is charity shops or thrift shops, depending on what you call them. Everyone's heard of this. These can sometimes be the cheapest way to get hold of secondhand clothing, but it can also sometimes be the most time consuming. A lot of people say they don't have time to sort through all the clothes and find ones they like. So that's understandable, but it probably is the cheapest way. If you're a student and you have lots of time and no money, I paid like £1 for this top in a charity shop. I would say the only thing with charity shops is don't go in there expecting to buy a certain thing. Just go in there really open-minded, look around, see what you find. If you're after a really specific thing, then the next option is better, which is to buy your clothes online. I buy most of my clothes from Depop, but eBay I think is also good, and there's lots of other clothes buying websites. Depop is definitely the most popular one in the UK, at least at the moment. I really like it because you can filter by size, so you're only looking at clothes in your size, and then you can search for brands or for styles. It's really useful if you're after a specific item. If you're like, oh, my black jeans have deteriorated beyond repair, I need a new pair of black jeans, you can go on Depop and type in black jeans size 12 and bingo, loads of options will come up. So if you're after a really specific item, like if you see something in a magazine or if you see someone else wearing something, that sometimes happens. Like for me, last year I bought myself a denim skirt. I saw other people wearing denim skirts and I was like, I really want one of those. So I just typed in denim skirt. I find this is also better because the clothes on there tend to be trendier and younger. Sometimes you can go into a charity shop and feel like all the clothes are granny clothes, and or middle-aged clothes and quite boring, whereas there tend to be more trendier clothes online. Thirdly is clothes swaps. I have been to a clothes swap once, and it was a really great experience. We had to pay £5 for entry, but I think that money was going for charity. I think it was a fundraising event. You took along a load of clothes, and I took I think 5 items, and so she stamped my thing. You could bring up to 10 items. And she stamped a little thing that said I'd brought 5 items and therefore I could take 5 items. And then you give them all your clothes and then you go away. We had a drink and they put them all on racks. And then half an hour later, they let you in and you can go and pick up whatever items you want. And it's just a really great way of getting some new clothes. It's a good way of getting rid of some clothes you don't want and swapping them for some really awesome clothes. It's very affordable, but I would say it's very hit and miss. You could get lucky and there could be loads of great clothes, or you could be really unlucky and the one you go to there could be awful clothes. I also found it was really difficult to tell with clothes because there was this mad frenzy. Once they let people in, everyone went crazy to try and find the good clothes really quickly. And also the place where we did it was in quite a dark room, and so it was really hard to see. So I came away with 5 items, and I think I'm trying to think through them now. At least 2 of them I now love, and they're amazing items of clothing. But if I remember rightly, at least 1 or 2 of them I ended up getting rid of quite soon after because they just weren't the one. But you know what? I paid £5. I got rid of some clothes I wasn't feeling, and I came away with 2 items that I really love. So to me, that still seems like a win. I don't think it's a loss because I didn't come away with 5 amazing items. The fact that I came away with 2 amazing items for £5 was still a win in my head. So it didn't really matter to me that a couple of the items you can't try them on, and when I got them home and saw them in the daylight, I was they're not in the best condition. Or yeah, so can be hit and miss. Be open-minded basically, but I think it's a really great thing to try. You can search Facebook or the internet to find out if there's public clothes swaps happening near you, or you can also organise one. You could do a small thing with your friends or your family. You could organise a fake little clothes swap. You get all your friends together, be everyone bring some clothes you don't want, and we'll share them around. And this leads me on to the next one, which is to swap your clothes. I think we should really encourage swapping clothes between family and friends. So whenever I put items up on Depop, I always say to my friends if you want them, you can have them. And back in high school, there was a group of 4 of us that were really good friends, and so when I was having these big purges, I would send them photos and be do you want any of it before I try and sell it or donate it? And I think that should just be more common practice. I'm not saying you should go up to your friends and be give me your clothes, but I think you could definitely go up to your friends and say, hey, I really like your style. The next time you're having a clear out, could you see if I'm interested in the item? And even be I'm willing to pay you for them. I think we should just build a culture where we're more open to like swapping clothes. And I think this can also definitely happen on a temporary basis, like borrowing clothes, especially for an event. I really wish there was more of a culture of like borrowing a dress to go to an event. I know people do that, but I wish that was like a lot more common than it is. But yeah, and I think the best way you do that is just to lead by example, like I did. And next time you have a clear out, ask your family and friends, be like, do you want any of these before I sell them? And then maybe it'll encourage them the next time they clear out to offer you some of them. And lastly is kilo sales. I've been to a couple of kilo sales. My university likes to hold them. And so I've been to those, and basically they're normally in like village halls or town halls or like those kind of public spaces. A company will rent them and it's like an event. I don't think there are permanent shops that do this. They're normally like a pop-up event, and they come along and they bring loads of rails of clothes, and you can go through them and buy whatever you want, and you pay by the weight. Now these can be cheap, it can be expensive, it basically depends on what you buy. If you buy like t-shirts and things, it's going to be really cheap, but if you buy like jackets and jeans and things, those are going to be more expensive, but obviously that's because typically jackets and jeans are more valuable than t-shirts. A lot of them you have to pay entry, a lot of them they like charge a premium for letting you go in early and pick the best items. But I don't know, I think it's just a fun way. I think it can be a really fun like thing to do with your friends. If you see that there's one happening in your town, why don't you suggest to your friends that you go along and just see what you can get, and you can go get coffee afterwards, and it can be a good friendship date. Anyway, I hope that's opened your eyes to the fact that secondhand clothing is really accessible, and there are loads of different ways you can get it. Like, some people have lots of money and no time, some people have lots of time and no money, and hopefully one of these options will work for you, whichever one it is. Thank you for watching. My name is Louise, and you can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Louise's Life.